All right, what's going on, everybody? Daddy is live. Daddy is back. We're back, everybody. It's good to see you guys. It's good to see everybody on the show. We're here. We're ready to go. We're ready to roll out. But welcome to the show, everybody. We got Eric, Vaughn, Eric, 4-3. Trifecta. What up, dude? We got Eric, Vaughn, Eric in the house. What is up, my pink brony bro? Dude, Eric, you're always here on time and ready to roll, dude. You must get, like, the notification really quickly. I think that's what happens. I think my boy gets the notification pretty quickly. Give me... Oh, hold on. Just had to get the lighting all squared away. One moment. What up, Annie? We got Annie in the chat. What up, Brony? We got all the pink brony bros in the house. Just getting a couple things set up real quick, you guys. One moment. Pills, pills, alcohol. Catch us when we free fall. We're getting just one more factor set up. I know I'm being a little bit slow this morning, so I want to thank you guys for your patience and diligence here. Almost there, everybody. Almost there. Getting one more thing squared away. I'm getting the poll set up really quick, so got a poll. Oh, Trump is speaking in Las Vegas tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? Hell yeah, dude. That's not too far away. That's not too far away at all. Hell yeah. Well, I'm excited, man. Anytime Trump speaks, dude, I get pretty, I get pretty happy in the pants. Give me a few moments, though. We're pulling up additional pieces of information. I'm feeling good, dude. I'm feeling real good, man. Okay, so we do want to check on an Epic Fury update. So let's take a look at the Epic Fury update. Hold on. We're going to see what Hegseth has to say, and we're going to react to any Donald Trump news as well. But yeah, Trump basically has Iran in a corner. I mean, Iran is completely cornered in this situation. There's Hegseth. Where'd he start?
Good morning.
There we go. Good morning, Pete Hegseth, you sexy dog.
As you may have noticed,
I love you, dude.
Chairman and I are joined today by the CENTCOM commander, Admiral Bradley Cooper. He just returned from the front lines to see the troops and meet with allies, and this morning briefed us, just before this briefing, on the latest on all aspects of Operation Epic Fury.
Epic Furries.
So after the chairman concludes, we'll ask
Epic
Admiral
Furries.
Cooper to share a quick update on the ground truth from his trip to the region as he continues to implement an ironclad blockade and ensures that our forces are maximally postured to restart combat operations should this new Iranian regime choose poorly and not agree.
I don't think you should trust. Here's the thing, man.
What we urged this morning, that this new Iranian regime...
I don't think you could trust Iran's regime at all. Like, I think it's probably the most foolish thing that anybody could do is trust Iran in this scenario. Iran is not trustworthy. Period. End of story. I think we're all aware of that. Yeah, in no way, shape, or form would I trust Iran in this scenario. At all. I don't understand why anybody would. Why would you trust Iran? That makes zero sense to me. No, seriously, like, really think about this logically, you guys. Why would you trust Iran? Why? It makes no freaking sense at all. And I think you know it.
Choose wisely, which is where we'll start with a message to Iran's military leadership, to the KH leadership and IRGC leadership.
The Asshole Ayatollah.
Our capabilities are not the same, our military and yours. Remember, this is not a...
The Iranian military and the U.S. military are day and night, dude. Day and night. The U.S. military is superior. And one way or another, dude, this blockade is going to happen. It's going to keep happening until the result that the U.S. desires happens. And so I think what Donald Trump is doing, I think what Pete Hegseth is doing, they're performing the right moves. They're doing all the right things. And to those of you guys who are hating on Hegseth or hating on Trump, it's like, whatever. You guys can do what you want. You guys can be curmudgeons. You guys can be fools. Be fools if you want. I don't know. But no, I support our president. I support what Trump is doing. I support what Hegseth is doing. And yeah, I think that you guys just don't understand. I don't think a lot of the people on my channel, the leftists that come in the chat, I don't think a lot of the leftists that come in the chat understand what is going on. Like, they don't understand the world as well as they think they do. And by the way, presidents before Trump have wanted to go after Iran and said it was necessary. So why all of a sudden is it such a bad thing that our boy Donald Trump went after Iran? Why is it suddenly a bad thing that we went after Iran? Is it because it's Trump that's going after Iran and he's stealing all the glory away from all the Democrats? I don't know. Look, the difference between Trump and every other president that we've ever had is he takes massive levels of action very quickly. And that's the type of dude he is at the end of the day. And whether people like it or not, dude, Trump is going to do what Trump does. Trump is going to do what Trump does, man. Okay, so we're gonna keep going though. I do want to thank you guys for being so a part of the show. You guys have been incredible. The more people we have on the show, the better. I'm just shocked, but I guess what I'm really shocked by is just how supportive everybody's been. You know, I knew that people would be supportive, but not on this level. I mean, you guys have really, really been supportive about this show. And for that, I really do want to thank each and every one of you guys. You guys keep the show alive. You guys keep the show flowing. I couldn't do it without you guys is really what I'm trying to get at. And I'm lucky. I'm lucky. Catch us when we free fall. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Oh. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Whoa. But we're not listening. Hey. No, I'm glad I could entertain you guys, man. That's what I like to do. I like to be an entertainer. I like to have fun with you guys. You guys are amazing, and I got the coolest audience in the world, man. I'm lucky. Not everybody gets the opportunity to hang out with a fun audience, and I got lucky on the audience that I got, by the way. I mean, I didn't choose you guys. You chose me, and I'm lucky that I was the one you chose. So, for that matter, I mean, because I have the coolest community ever, man. I got, dude, Christopher Larson's here. Hell yeah. But no, I got like the coolest community, man. Like my boy Tiny Lion Gaming, BPD Bob, he's cool. But like for all the people I've never met, you know, I've only known you guys through the channel itself directly. And no, I think you guys are awesome, man. And I just want to thank each and every one of you guys for being a part of the journey. Let's
fair fight. And we know what military assets you are moving and where you are moving them to. While you are digging out, which is exactly what you're doing, digging out of bombed out and devastated facilities, we are only getting stronger. You are digging out your remaining launchers and missiles with no ability to replace them. You have no defense industry, no ability to replenish your offensive or defensive capabilities. You only have what you have. You know that, and we know that. You can move things around, but you can't actually rebuild. You can dig out for now, but you can't reconstitute. But we can. We are reloading with more power than ever before, and better intelligence, even more importantly, better intelligence than ever before, as you expose yourself with your movement to our watchful eye. We are locked and loaded on your critical dual-use infrastructure, on your remaining power generation, and on your energy industry. We'd rather not have to do it, but we're ready to go at the...
Who is Raymond Abraham? Maybe. I might look that up a little bit later. Not sure, though. I'll think about it, Mr. Larson Christopher. I'll think about it.
Command of our president and at the push of a button. This blockade...
Hey, guys, if you guys think that Pete Hegseth is a total stud, double tap the screen to like the stream. If you guys think that Donald Trump's the man, double tap your screens. If you guys think that J.D. Vance should be the president in 2028, because we love J.D. Vance, or Marco Rubio, one or the other. I love both of them. Double tap your screen. I'd be fine with that, either of them. Well, all right, I'll look him up, but I'm gonna. Our goal today is to, look up the main stuff. But hold on. Raymond Abraham. From expansion to stagnation. Oh, okay. Yeah, I might look him up a little bit later. I don't know. I'll subscribe to him, and then maybe I'll subscribe to him, and maybe we'll bounce back to him. But for now, we're just gonna look up. We're really just primarily focusing on like Iran war updates to start the show, and then we might expand to Raymond later. But I made sure I subscribed to him so I didn't forget to check him out. Let's see.
Aid, which the chairman will detail this morning, is the polite way that this can go. Your energy is not moving and will not move, and we can do this all day. But it's not destroyed yet. Your energy industry is not destroyed yet. You like to say publicly, Iran, that you control the Strait of Hormuz, but you don't have a navy.
They don't, man. They don't even. Yeah, their navy's pretty much was shot down and sank to the bottom of the ocean. Iran doesn't have a navy anymore at this point, so it's like, what is Iran talking about, bro? Dude, Iran is so cooked.
Navy or real domain awareness. You can't control anything. Just to be clear, threatening to shoot missiles and drones at ships, commercial ships that are lawfully transiting international waters, that is not control. That's piracy. That's terrorism. The United States.
Thank you, Larson. I appreciate it, man.
controls
Thank
the
you.
Traffic going in and
Thank
out
you, brother.
of the strait because we have real assets and real capabilities, and we're doing this blockade, performing it with less than 10% of America's naval power.
That's wild. So they're using less than 10% of their ships. They're using less than 10% of their overall power to do this blockade. That's crazy. I mean, that's amazing, but it's also crazy.
The math is clear. We're using 10% of the world's most powerful navy, and you have 0%
Wild.
of your name. That's real control.
Absolutely.
We have a long track record of dealing with pirates and terrorists. But there is an alternative. As our negotiators have said, you, Iran, can choose a prosperous future, a golden bridge. And we hope that you do for the people of Iran. In the meantime, and for as long as it takes, we will maintain this blockade, successful blockade.
Hell yeah.
But if Iran chooses poorly, then they will have a blockade and bombs dropping on infrastructure, power, and energy. And at this
Dude, if you guys think that Iran is completely cooked, double tap your screens. If you guys think that Iran... Do you guys... Okay, so if you guys think that Iran's not really going to come to the table on the deal, if you guys think that Iran's is gonna make a stupid decision, double tap your screens to like the stream. But yeah, if you guys think that Iran is completely cooked and they're making all the wrong moves and all the wrong decisions, double tap the screen, man, because I think Iran's cooked. I really do. If you think that Iran's cooked and you think that Donald Trump's winning this one, double tap the screen, baby. Woo! Trump's winning, dude. Trump's winning. That's all I got to say.
At the same time, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and our friends over at Treasury are launching Operation Economic Fury as well, maximizing economic pressure.
Yeah, the invasion of Iran through the ideology of Islam, yuck. Ugh. That's all I got to say, man. Larson Christopher, man, I'm not a big fan of Islam. It's just not it's not my favorite religion. Its ideology is pretty warped, in my opinion. I'm not going to go too deeply into it. It's just an opinion, though.
Pressure across the entirety of the government. To Iran, choose wisely. The world watched, and so did you, as the U.S. military moved seamlessly from major combat operations to a world-class blockade. We can make that transition again, very quickly, and even more powerfully than ever. At the direction of President Trump, the War Department will ensure that Iran never has a nuclear weapon. Never. We'd prefer to do it the nice way, through a deal led by our great Vice President and negotiating team, or we
JD,
can do
baby.
it the hard way. We urge this new regime to choose wisely.
Yep.
Speaking of choosing wisely, a note to the press corps, to the American media. As I just can't...
Oh, shit, he's going right after the American media. Dude, honestly, no, I'm so sick of the woke media. The woke media makes everything worse, in my opinion. Some of these reporters have... I don't even know how they became reporters. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like some of these reporters are so, as Donald Trump would say, low IQ. I think a lot of these reporters, like Caitlin Collins, for example, I think she's so annoying. She looks like a bitter Karen. Caitlin Collins from CNN. She just seems like a Karen. Her entire personality seems like she's a miserable person. She definitely has Trump derangement syndrome, allegedly. But allegedly she seems like a miserable person. I don't like Caitlin Collins, dude. I just think she's terrible. Anyway, she just seems like a grumpy woman. She just seems grumpy all the time, you know? And it's weird. It's weird to me. It's like, why would you be... I know that you're a reporter, and I know you don't like Donald Trump. Can you find some joy in what you do? Just some. It's not a requirement, but... And maybe she hates her job. That's a possibility. You know, and sometimes you hate your job, but it pays well, and then you stick with it because it pays well. You know, I don't know how anybody could work for CNN and feel good about themselves.
But notice the endless stream of garbage, the relentlessly negative coverage. You cannot resist peddling.
It's been very
despite
negative.
The historic and important success.
And Trump's winning, dude. Whether people want to admit this or not, Trump is winning. Trump is winning all this, dude. He's winning all of it. Whether you want to admit it or not, Trump Daddy's winning, dude.
Of this effort and the success of our troops. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what side some of you are actually on. It's incredibly...
You're right, I don't like the questions. Hold on. Let's read this.
Mike Paolantonio 4693 says, Garza, you are just like Trump. You put her down because you don't like the question she asks.
Correct. I don't like the questions she asks because her questions are stupid. Her questions are dumb. I don't like most of the questions she asks because I think they're ridiculous. You know, and she's always grasping for straws at something. She's always like, it just, I don't know. And I don't, you know, she basically, I don't want to talk about Caitlin Collins too much because I think I have Caitlin Collins derangement syndrome because every time I think about her, I'm just, I get grossed out. So it's not, the thing is, you're assuming that I don't like the questions because they're good questions. No, I don't like the questions because they're shitty. The questions she asks are low IQ questions. That's why.
Unpatriotic. This same.
Yeah, CNN sucks is what I'm trying to say. CNN is an entire company. I can't stand CNN. I think CNN is the lowest common denominator when it comes to mainstream media. I feel that CNN is one of the main reasons I don't trust the mainstream media. I don't like the mainstream media because I just don't trust it. And I think if you ask most Americans, their sentiment is very similar to mine. They don't trust the mainstream media. Why should they? Yeah.
Same press corps, not this exact same press corps, but at least an older press corps, bent over backwards during the Biden administration to explain away the disastrous and disgraceful Afghanistan withdrawal. You called it the greatest airlift in American history. It's almost like you're cheering
Biden
only for one side. This past Sunday, I was sitting in church with my family, and our minister preached from the book of Mark, the 3rd chapter. And in the passage, Jesus entered a synagogue and healed a man.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
And with a withered hand. The Pharisees came to watch. And as the scripture reads, they came to see whether Jesus, would heal him, or he would heal him on the Sabbath, so that they might accuse him. You see, the Pharisees, the so-called and self-appointed elites of their time, they were there to witness, to write everything down, to report. But their hearts were hardened. Even though they witnessed a literal miracle, it didn't matter. They were only there to explain away the goodness in pursuit of their agenda.
It's an interesting analogy. I mean, like, think about it. I mean, that's kind of how it is today. You know, for example, and I'm not trying to compare Trump to Jesus or anything, but Trump is doing so many good things. You know, in a lot of ways, he's performing miracles. Now, I'm not saying he's Jesus. Just I want to make that very clear. But what I'm saying is, as a president, he's doing a hell of a job. And the mainstream media elites, all they could do is sit there and try to explain away the success of the Trump administration. That's all I'm trying to say.
As the passage ends, the Pharisees went out and immediately held counsel against him, how to destroy him. I sat there in church and I thought, our press are just like these Pharisees. Not all of you, but the legacy Trump-hating press.
Yep.
Your politically motivated animus for President Trump nearly completely blinds you from the brilliance of our American warriors. The Pharisees
Absolutely
scrutinized every good act in order to find a violation, only looking for the negative. The hardened hearts of our press are calibrated only to impugn. I would ask you to open your eyes to the goodness, the historic success of our troops, the courage of this president, and this historic moment for a deal that could end the Iranian nuclear threat.
And yeah, here's the thing. Iran needs to agree to this. Iran needs to agree that they will no longer develop a nuclear weapon of any kind. Any kind. And you know that I'm right. Iran should never have the ability to have uranium. They should not enrich uranium. They should not even think about it. Iran deserves nothing. Absolutely nothing. Iran, everybody said, all the mainstream media is saying that, oh, Donald Trump started this war. No, Iran started this war a long time ago. They started this war a long time ago by killing its own citizens, by enriching uranium to weapons-grade levels, by being the number one state sponsor of terrorism and funding terrorist organizations rapidly. Iran started this war a long time ago. Donald Trump is just finishing it. I think that's a mic drop moment. I think that's a damn mic drop moment right there, if you ask me. And yeah, I do think Trump is the man, by the way. I think he's the GOAT. I do. I think that Trump is the man. No, I think Donald Trump's one of the greatest presidents we've ever had in this country. And, to those of you who don't believe that, I don't really give a shit what you believe. I don't really give a crap what you believe. I know what I believe, and that's it. Enough said. Winning. Let's keep watching.
Incredible battlefield victory laid before your eyes. The not one, but two incredible rescue missions, miracles, you might say, or a locked-in blockade. Or how about historic recruiting numbers? Yesterday, we announced that the Air Force and the Space Force met new, higher goals in FY26, 5 months in advance of the end of the fiscal year.
That's actually pretty impressive. Those stats right there that he just leveled off, not bad.
Five months ahead of time. The Marine Corps and the Army will soon do the same. 2-3 years ago, we couldn't meet lower recruiting numbers, not even close. Where are the reports on that? Where's the coverage of the new spirit in the country, the new spirit in the ranks, the surge of Americans wanting to...
Yeah, people actually, a lot of average Americans, if you were to ask the average American, I think that they would say, you know what? Because of all the atrocities that Iran has committed, if you were to remind them all the atrocities that Iran has committed, they would be like, you know what? Donald Trump was right. I think because it's Donald Trump, that's what people have the biggest problem with. The problem they have is that it's Donald Trump. That is their main problem. That's the main problem they're facing at the moment. Iran does not in any way deserve uranium. They don't. They should not even be able to enrich it. They should not even be able to think about it. Because Iran has proven to be the Iranian government, the Iranian regime is proven to be toxic and very warmongering. So Donald Trump did make the right decision, whether you want to admit it or not. Donald Trump absolutely 100% made the right decision. You guys are having trouble believing it because, well, you're all a bunch of pessimists. At the end of the day, I mean, there's a lot of pessimists out there, unfortunately. And it's just sad. So, yeah, I know. I think that, like I said, at the end of the day, Trump is the man. Trump is doing exactly what he needs to do. And it pisses a lot of people off, admittedly. But yeah, no, I appreciate you guys. Let's keep going.
Join the greatest military in the world, nothing from the fake news. We sense a pattern. You see, on the battlefield, these are demonstrations of uniquely American capabilities. Strength and resolve, it's all around you each and every day. But in the press, you only seek the negative, earning each and every day the fake news label. But the American people, with goodness in their hearts, see past the Pharisees in our press. They see the goodness. You watching, you see the goodness. They see the success. Mm-hmm. They see the reality. And they don't demand perfection, and perfection is not possible on any battlefield. But they see the incredible feats that our troops accomplish every single day. So to those troops,
heck yeah,
stay focused, block out the noise, stay aggressive. You are showing the world what it means to be an American warrior. You are making this building and the American...
Amazing, dude. Amazing. Like, that's the thing about Hegseth that I love so much is he's so good at speaking. Like, honestly, Pete Hegseth is one of the best public speakers I've ever seen. I love him, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a huge Hegseth fanboy. I love Pete Hegseth. Maybe a little too much. I know. Whatever.
American people proud. We pray for you every day, and we have your back in every way. And to Iran, choose wisely. I pray you choose a deal which is within your grasp for the betterment of your people and for the betterment of the world. In the meantime, the War Department is locked and loaded. Mr. Chairman, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here today. Last week, the President of the United States directed a ceasefire that temporarily paused major combat operations in Iran. The unprecedented effort by America's joint force during Operation Epic Fury set the conditions for this ceasefire. And as the Secretary said, I'd like to emphasize during this pause that the United States joint force remains postured and ready to resume major combat operations at literally a moment.
Yeah, so basically they're prepared because obviously you need to be in these situations because you never know what Iran's going to do next. Iran, honestly, is a loose cannon. I really believe that Iran and their entire government, their entire everything, I mean, they're a loose cannon overall. And that's huge. That is huge.
Moment's notice. This morning, I'd like to give you an update on the ongoing blockade in the CENTCOM AOR area of responsibility.
Damn, there's 18-year-olds driving these ships? I mean, that's wild. If you ask me, that's crazy and wild. I mean, it's cool. Still wild, though.
On Monday, 13 April, at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, at the direction of the President, America's joint force began implementing a blockade against Iran under the leadership of Admiral Cooper and the team at CENTCOM. Let me be clear, this blockade applies to all ships, regardless of nationality, heading into or from Iranian ports. The U.S. action is a blockade of Iran's ports and coastline, not a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Enforcement will occur.
So basically what's happening is what it sounds like, and forgive me if I'm wrong, it sounds like they're blocking off the coastal areas of Iran and monitoring those areas and making sure that they're not trying to fire weapons from the coast of Iran. And if Iran is trying to fire any sort of weapons from the coast, the battleships will respond in kind by firing whatever amount of missiles they need to fire. That's what it sounds like.
Inside Iran's territorial seas and in international waters. In addition to this blockade, the joint force, through operations and activities in other areas of responsibility, like the Pacific area of responsibility under the command of Admiral Paparo, will actively pursue any Iranian-flagged vessel or any vessel attempting to provide material support to Iran. This includes dark fleet vessels carrying Iranian oil. As most of you know, dark fleet vessels are those illicit or illegal ships evading international regulations.
Ah, got it. They're driving without a license is what it sounds like. That's my translation of that.
Sanctions or insurance requirements. More than 10,000 sailors.
They didn't get their boat insurance, bro. They didn't talk to Progressive.
Marines, and airmen, over a dozen ships and dozens of aircraft are executing this mission. And let me walk you through this operation a little bit. Please go to the first slide. First to the graphic. This is taken before the blockade began. North is up. You can see the blockade line here in the center of the graphic, denoted by the red dashed line. This map is a poll from our common operating picture that we use to allow commanders and key leaders to see what is happening in near real time. We just grabbed screen grabs to highlight the actions and activities. What is not shown is how incredibly congested this area is and the incredible work that our sailors are doing.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is a very, like look on this part of the map. From here to here, if you were to have these boats, they all, I mean, it's tough to get these people through. It's tough because there's boats going in and there's boats going out. Boats going in and out, right? So the congestion that probably happens in that choke point is probably kind of wild if you think about it. Probably extremely wild overall. But let's keep going, man. Let's keep it flowing.
Doing to ensure that they can work in and around an incredibly busy water space. What is also not depicted here is the massive force of fighters, intelligence aircraft, helicopters, and other embarked forces to include aerial refueling tankers that are up overhead this blockade area. You'll note that the U.S. forces are in blue, Iranian ships are in red, and as we started this blockade, there were 7 ships of interest that were of concern for U.S. Central Command. Through a variety of intelligence tools and with the assistance of the Office of Naval Intelligence and other intelligence agencies, the force began to hunt for potential interdictors at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Next slide, please. It's now 12:40 Eastern Daylight Time, 2 hours and 40 minutes into the blockade, as attempted blockade runners attempt to hop the line. U.S. forces began to commit. Out in front of them was a range of intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, and tactical assets.
Hell yeah.
Immediately, these runners began to see, sense, and feel America's combat power compressing upon them. The lead ship, normally a destroyer, as depicted here, along with air power off of the USS Abraham Lincoln Strike Group, began to move towards those ships.
Freaking get it, dude.
At each point, the United States Navy will transmit a warning. A young sailor, normally on the bridge of one of those destroyers, a junior officer, picks up that mic and transmits, and I quote, "Do not attempt to breach the blockade.
If you breach the blockade, you will go down. You will suffer.
Vessels will be boarded for interdiction and seizure transiting to or from Iranian ports."
They got to get the permission, man. If they don't get the permission, then they ain't going through.
Turn around or prepare to be boarded. If you do not comply with this blockade, we will use force. And as this message is being transmitted, as I mentioned earlier, those shipmasters can literally see, sense, and feel the pressure around them. It's a finely tuned machine, rehearsed multiple times, and executed now 13 times since the blockade has begun. Next slide, please.
Get it, bronies.
24 hours plus.
Get it. Give me just a few seconds. Maybe we should go back. Hold on. Let's go back to that. Yeah.
Into the blockade. You can see the turning around of multiple ships, 12 of which stayed inside the blockade line, one of which not depicted off to the eastern.
I don't think everybody's passing through. That's cray-cray, dude. That is cray-cray. That's cray.
Side turned around before even attempting it. Any ship that would cross the blockade would result in our sailors executing pre-planned tactics designed to bring the force to that ship, if need be, board the ship and take her over. And that includes a series of escalated force options, which could include warning shots and others. Next slide. The final graphic shows taken at 11:20 p.m. the night of 14 April. You can see that the captains of all these ships have made the wise decision not to move, transit, or run this blockade. As
Heck yeah, man.
I mentioned, so far 13 ships have made the wise choice of turning around. And as we continue to hold this blockade at the order of the Secretary and the President, any vessel that compares to comply with our instructions will be dealt with accordingly. As of this morning, U.S. Central Command has not been required to board any particular ships. And I'll remind you that we are also conducting similar maritime interdiction actions and activities in the Pacific.
Look, I think they're doing the right thing. I think that the U.S. Navy's doing the right thing. Look, the U.S. government is making the right decisions. You guys may disagree, but you know I'm right. I think you know at the end of the day that Zaddy's right, dude. Come on. You guys know, in your heart of hearts, I think you guys know that I'm correct, right?
AOR against those ships that left that area before we began the blockade. Before I turn it over to Admiral Cooper, I want to talk briefly today about the men and
Well, I want to hear more from Pete Hegseth, because I think Pete Hegseth is kind of he's kind of the man. Not just kind of, dude. Pete Hegseth is like a total stud. Now, I know there's people out there like, you like Pete Hegseth? You're a freaking weirdo, bro. It's like, no, I really do. I love Pete Hegseth, bro. I love Pete Hegseth. I think he's the man, dude. Strong. Be kind of tight if he held me in his arms, you know. I mean, if Pete Hegseth ever wanted to hold me in his arms, you know, are we going to disagree with that? Are we going to say no to that? I don't think so. I think we're going to say, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Let's keep watching. I need to stop getting so sprung for Hegseth.
women enforcing the blockade, America's sailors and Marines, and today particularly our destroyer and surface forces. When we talk about an American destroyer, it's important that you and the American people understand their capabilities. An Arleigh Burke-class destroyer are the backbone of the United States Navy surface fleet.
Heck yeah.
Over 500 feet long, they displace 9,000
That's large, dude. That is large and in charge, straight up.
tons, and it is the sports car of the United States Navy. From the keel to the mast, they stand nearly 10 stories tall, and their 4 gas turbine engines can drive the ship at 30-plus knots. These ships are armed to the teeth with surface-to-air missiles, land attack cruise missiles, anti-ship missiles, anti-submarine rockets, torpedoes, 5-inch naval guns, multiple electronic warfare systems, embarked helicopters, extending the reach and capability of each and every one of these destroyers. But far and away, the most important weapon on board these ships is the American sailor. Over 300 warfighters are the heart and soul of these warships. At sea, sometimes for months, and these ships out in the CENTCOM AOR have been out there for months. They operate around the clock in a constant state of readiness, always delivering for our joint force. It's hot in the engine room. The engineering team keeps the lights on and the ship powered and able to respond to the orders.
It's crazy how many people there are behind the scenes making those ships function. You know what I mean? It is wild. And it's also kind of like, it's amazing in a lot of ways. I mean, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty dope.
Bridge. On that bridge, our sailors maintain a constant watch, maneuvering the ship tactically and safely through always congested water space, and there is a lot out there. It is like driving a sports car through a supermarket parking lot on a payday weekend with thousands of kids in that parking lot as you attempt to maneuver through there to get to that ship that would attempt to run that blockade. Down in the Combat Information Center, the CIC, the Tactical Warfare Center of the ship, that is where the decisions are made. As threats appear, these young sailors are making real-time decisions on how to identify these threats and handle them, and they always deliver. These ships are run by the youngest sailors in our surface warfare Navy. The helmsman, the sailor on the watch at the bridge, is normally just between 18 to 19 years old.
That is crazy. I mean, look, as long as they're well trained, that's still impressive, though, man. 18 to 19 years old for a helmsman. Honestly, that's really impressive. That is truly, truly impressive.
And they are trusted
Without a doubt
to drive this warship through that supermarket
Unbelievable.
parking lot without hitting anything. The conning officer, an equally young commissioned officer who's normally just a few years out.
Look, if you guys think that Iran's losing this war, double tap the screen. If you guys think that Trump is the man, double tap your screen to like the stream. Just double tap the stream to like the stream, man. We're pro-MAGA. We're pro-Trump. We're pretty anti-Democrat for the most part because we think the Democrats have lost their collectivist minds. So if you guys want to help support the channel, double tap the screen to like the stream. And also don't forget to press the subscribe button in the upper right-hand corner. It does help the channel grow in a lot of ways. So I want to thank you guys for being a part of the team. And back to the show. Back to the show.
Out of college is the ones that are giving that young helmsman the orders on where to take that American warship to execute the mission that the Secretary and the President has given us. These are incredibly well-trained sailors. They are led by incredible leaders, salty, experienced leaders, and trusted with deep responsibility. And I'm so humbled and proud of America's Navy. These sailors choose to take the road less traveled to go into the historic surface Navy, and they deliver every single day.
Damn, man.
Finally, as I often do, I want to highlight one
damn.
of those surface sailors today and remember our fallen. Today we remember Ensign Robert Thompson of the U.S. Laffey, who died on this day in 1945 in the Battle of Okinawa.
Damn, man.
He was killed while fighting a fire along with 31 others as 2 Japanese kamikaze aircraft hit their ship. He passed away 1 week after his 22nd birthday and was posthumously awarded the Navy Cross. We remember Ensign Thompson today and all of our World War II vets who continue to give us the gift of a great example. And those surface warfare sailors who are out there doing the job right now take the courage, grit, and determination that those World War II vets gave us into these actions and activities that they're tasked to do every single day. So now I'd like to turn it over to Admiral Cooper to give us a readout of his recent trip to the region.
Well, good morning, and Mr. Secretary, thank you for the kind invitation, and Chairman, great to join you. It's a real honor to be here representing the more than 50,000 American service members deployed throughout the Middle East today, supporting operations. And it's great to have the opportunity to highlight the tremendous efforts our warfighters operating forward and the important partnerships with regional allies that continue to thrive. In fact, yesterday I returned from my second trip to the Middle East in the past 15 days. 2 very different visits, one during our offensive operations against Iran, and the second in this most recent trip during the ongoing ceasefire. Very different. During both of my recent trips, I visited with our troops who were deployed across the region in more than 70 different locations, in a distance that largely spans between Florida and Arizona. I've long believed that every success that we have starts and ends with our people, and boy does this shine through brightly. During these visits, I had the privilege of personally recognizing more than 100 servicemen and women for their extraordinary valor, their courage, and their initiative under fire and delivering fire. And every time I interact with these young men and women downrange, I am deeply
I do love the praise. You know, anytime this guy speaks, I really do appreciate the praise that he gives. You know, the men and women who are serving under him, because honestly, that's a sign of a good leader, man. That's a sign of a good leader. Talking up your team, man. Letting your team know you got their back. And you're going to make them look good. You know? I dig that. I dig that a lot. But they're also feeling good about themselves, too, which is nice.
inspired by their courage, their resilience, and their unwavering commitment. The stories are remarkable. In many cases, you've seen
amazing,
this play
man.
out over
Amazing.
TV.
Amazing.
Fighter pilots who took out Iranian missile launchers in the moments prior to their launch against Americans and our partners, and who hit key military targets in and around Tehran on the attack more than 13,000 times. I met with some of the teams that helped to bring our F-15 airmen home safely from Iran and heard first-person accounts of the stories. Absolute heroes. I spent time with our troops who are employing cutting-edge tactics and technology for the first time in warfare. I won't be able to talk about what those are, but these young men and women are breaking new ground. It's incredibly inspiring. I met with teams who launched our own one-way attack drones into Iran. These were originally Iranian-designed drones. We brought them back to America, took the guts out, put a made American stamp on them, and fired them right back to Iran. Very effective. I met with teams who were employing AI.
Damn, man. Ooh, I can't wait to hear him talk about the AI part of this. This is going to be interesting. I think using AI to scan, maybe not fire weapons. Let's not allow AI to fire weapons. But using AI to scan and identify targets, that's going to be crucial in the coming years of combat. And I think the U.S. is going to be in the forefront of this. At the forefront of this.
AI every single day to help us sift through vast amounts of information to help us make decisions faster. And importantly, humans are always in the loop in this process. I met with our Space Force teams and our cyber specialists, whose work cannot be discussed, but who serve with indispensable impact. I met with our logisticians and sustainers all over the region. There is just no military that executes logistics like the U.S. military. This group is doing exceptional work, moving thousands of tons every single day.
Wow.
I met with our air defenders who shot down Iranian ballistic
Wow,
missiles.
man.
My message for this group in particular is that their actions most certainly saved thousands of lives across the Middle East during Epic Fury. And all told, my personal assessment is, after these couple of trips, is our troops are highly motivated, they're focused, they're vigilant, and they're ready. And they're using this time to do a couple of things. We're rearming, we're retooling, and we're
Absolutely.
adjusting our tactics, techniques, and procedures. There's no military in the world that adjusts like we do, and that's exactly what we're doing right now during the ceasefire. A little note about partners. My discussion with regional allies and partners, both at the senior civilian level and the senior military level, reinforced our shared commitment to regional security. But beyond that, having now fought together, side by side, I assess that our military partnerships are stronger than ever as we continue to maintain a very active defense posture.
Zaddy, I see what you're saying. Random player, I saw Zaddy Trump.
Random player 717 says, Saudi Trump.
Across the region during this ceasefire. And that posture stretches across the entire Arabian Peninsula, and it runs from northern Iraq all the way down into the northern Arabian Gulf. In creating the largest air defense umbrella in the world across the Middle East, we embedded specially trained U.S. military air defenders alongside our partner nation soldiers, side by side, literally side by side. And to give you a sense of their contribution and impact, the King and Crown Prince of Bahrain both personally knew our soldiers by name. These leaders expressed appreciation for our service member who continue to stand shoulder to shoulder with our partners in support of regional defense. And this is a sentiment that is widely shared across every Gulf ally. I heard this message over and over again, which is, we stand with you. As the Secretary and the Chairman have said, Bahrain, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, and Jordan have been exceptional teammates. I had a chance to meet with both their senior leadership as well as their troops. Boy, equally inspiring and equally committed to mutual defense. They defended Americans and they defended their own country. It was inspiring. And there's been no better teammate than Israel. Together, the 4 best air forces.
No, I think it's good that we're working with Israel. I know people, like, I'm not the biggest fan of Israel, but the fact that they're willing to help us out and getting rid of the #1 state sponsor of terror, Iran, I think that's great. I think it's fabulous. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of Israel, but I'm showing them a little love. You got to give credit where credit's due. And look, the reason the war in Iran is necessary is because Iran has been the #1 state sponsor of terror for too long. They've been a major problem. They were enriching uranium almost to near weapons grade levels. They shouldn't be doing that. They were killing their own citizens for protesting the current regime, and it just bugged the hell out of me. And I don't like the Iranian government. So I think what the Iranian government has gotten, they've definitely deserved. So all I gotta say is good job to Trump, man. Trump and the U.S. military are making all the right moves. And if you guys love Trump as much as I do, double tap the screen to like the stream. If you guys think that J.D. Vance is the man, double tap the screen. If you guys are tired of the woke left telling you what to do, double tap the screen, man.
Forces in the world. The Israeli Air Force, the U.S. Air Force, and the Air Forces of the U.S. Navy and U.S. Marine Corps together met and exceeded our own military objectives over and over again. Twice in the past 2 weeks, I've met with the Israeli Chief of Defense to ensure that we remain closely aligned, and we do. And then finally, let me just close by saluting the brave men and women who are in uniform and who continue to answer the call with unrivaled
These people are amazing,
lethality,
man. Amazing.
great teamwork, and resolve. We've asked them to stay ready during this period, and that's exactly what they're doing. I couldn't be prouder, and I know that you and the American people share in that same pride. Thank you so much.
All right, we'll take a few questions. Go ahead.
Oh, the Q&A, dude. Pete Hegseth, Q&A, dude. Dude, Hegseth is the man, dude. No, I mean it. Hegseth is the GOAT, dude. I love this guy. I know people say, oh, he overperforms. No, I think he's a very animated speaker. And one of the reasons I love Pete Hegseth so much is I think he honestly is a very sincere guy. And I like him as an individual. Small Wiener Gang. I really do, man. Thank you for subscribing. We got a new subscriber, everybody. Give a shout out to Alan, Joel, Cruz, San Martin. Thank you so much for subscribing, my brony bro. But yeah, no, thank you guys. I appreciate it. And but no, thank you. I'm going to put Alan, Joel, Cruz, San Martin's name back on the Small Wiener Gang. Now, thank you for joining the Michael Gaze show. I appreciate it, man. The more subscribers we get, the better, obviously. We're currently sitting pretty at 10,062 subs. Once again, we're sitting at 10,062 subscribers. I want to thank you guys so much for subscribing to the channel and making it the channel that it is today. Also, if you guys can, double tap your screens. Double tap your screen to like the stream if you haven't already. The more likes that we get, the better. We're trying to get to 100 likes. In the next 30 minutes, we're trying to get to the 100 like marker. So don't forget to double tap your screen to like the stream, as it really does help the channel grow. It does make things a little bit better, quite a bit better actually. So I appreciate all your guys' efforts here. Let's get back to the show.
Thank you. Alexandra Ingersoll, One American News. How is the Iranians' decimated command and control affecting the ceasefire at this juncture? Ergo, how are we enforcing a ceasefire with an enemy who has virtually no command and control? And then one other question about the Houthis being, have the Houthis been an issue in the Straits of Hormuz
Probably.
and the Bab al-Mandab Strait at the Red Sea? Or are we tracking that militarily?
Appreciate that. On the ceasefire front, it's right. Their command and control capabilities are highly degraded. So their ability to talk, see, sense is at the worst it's ever been. but their motivation to want to stay in the ceasefire.
No way. Adam Livingston debates Coffeezilla? Dude, hold on. Breaking news. We're going to get back to this, but this is breaking news. Adam Livingston, the grifter of all grifters, debates Coffeezilla. Pinch me, is this real? So this just in from Tim Smith. Coffeezilla debates... And I don't know how real this is. We shall see. Oh my God. Is this real? Is this real? Pinch me? No.
Good day, everyone. My name is Adam Livingston. And
Oh, boo. It's him reacting. Ah, okay, you know what? We'll do it anyway. So we'll get back to the Epic Fury update. We're going to take a small detour here.
Good day, everyone. My name is Adam Livingston.
This guy is the worst person in the world, by the way. This guy sucks. Not Coffeezilla. Coffeezilla is pretty cool because he does expose a lot of the grifters. But Adam Livingston is a grifter.
And I am the Bitcoin wizard. So I
hate the fact that he calls himself the Bitcoin wizard. It just makes him sound like a Riri.
no idea who this guy is. Apparently his name is Coffeezilla.
You don't know who Coffeezilla is, Adam Livingston? My God, the only thing you know is glazing Michael Saylor's meat the same way that I glazed Donald Trump's.
Or something like that, but that's not the name of this channel, so I don't know what his actual name is. My DMs exploded. They said, oh my gosh, Adam, you have to watch this video.
Did Coffeezilla call out Adam Livingston? Did Coffeezilla actually call out Adam Livingston for being a Bitcoin shill? We got to watch this, dude.
Coffeezilla made and debunk it. He's talking about STRC from Strategy. So I haven't watched it.
Yeah, Micro Wiener Strategies STRC is a Ponzi scheme. He literally is issuing shares of Strategy so that way he can pay for the dividend. If he creates more shares, issues them out, and people buy those shares, he uses those amounts of that funding to then pay the dividend to people who have STRC, allegedly. And this is a classic Ponzi scheme. This is Ponzi scheme 101. Michael Saylor's not really reinventing the wheel. He's not reinventing the Ponzi, but he is enforcing it. God dang it. Michael Saylor sucks so hard, dude. So does Adam Livingston. Make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel. We're at 10,065 subs. Once again, we're at 10,065 subscribers. Don't forget to tap the subscribe button in the upper right-hand corner, as it does help the channel grow. We appreciate you guys. Let's watch this.
Yeah, this is going to be a live reaction. I've never seen this before. I'm just going to give you my genuine reaction. Let's see if he makes some good points against STRC. Maybe he's in favor of it. I have a feeling that Coffeezilla is going to call it a Ponzi scheme. I have a very, very good feeling that Coffeezilla is going to call it a Ponzi. Just you watch. Don't know, but we're going to get into it.
Because it is a Ponzi. And Coffeezilla's got to know that it's a Ponzi. If Coffeezilla is in any way, shape, or form for STRC, I'm sad. I'm reacting to it now. Sorry, I'm letting my boy, Mr. Tim Smith, know that I'm reacting to it right now. God, dude. Adam Livingston is such a chud.
Should be fun. Let's go ahead and press play and watch this entire thing.
It's been compared to the iPhone. It's been compared to a Ponzi scheme. Either
right off the bat, great start. Ponzi scheme. Sounds good. At least he's not saying that it is yet, but we're starting off great here.
Oh, he's going to say it's a Ponzi scheme, and we're going to see Adam Livingston probably have a meltdown. And look, Coffeezilla knows that. I hope that Coffeezilla knows in his heart of hearts that all cryptocurrencies are basically participating in the philosophy of greater fool theory. It's true. Greater fool theory. It is real.
Way a lot of people are investing and talking about a new product that's really a stock, specifically preferred stock, called Stretch, and it's sold by MicroStrategy. You may know them. They're the guys who have been buying
Micro Wiener strategy.
up a lot of Bitcoin. You may know Michael Saylor from them.
That's just a red flag. If you're calling it MicroStrategy, you're almost like, 2 years behind the times? It's strategy.
Oh my God, shut up. I call it Micro Wiener strategy all the time because it is Micro Wiener shit. It has small dick energy, dude. You know, they say that people have big dick energy. Well, guess what? Micro Wiener strategy has small dick energy. All right, let's keep going.
Kid.
Memes about Bitcoin. He's like, there is no second.
I love how Adam Livingston's pissed. He's an old, it's the irony is Coffeezilla is smarter than this guy. This guy has revolved his entire life around a Ponzi scheme, right? I have revolved my existence around investing in things that have real value, real intrinsic value. So, but Bitcoin is trash. Bitcoin is an absolute Ponzi scheme. We all know it.
But Bitcoin.
There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right?
Well, now it looks like he's changed his tune because his company is currently raising billions of dollars.
How is he changing his tune if Stretch is made economically feasible by the Bitcoin horde?
No, it's not. That's the definition of a Ponzi scheme. Is because Bitcoin is intrinsically worthless. So that's one thing you got to consider, Adam Livingston, you total chud. And because it's utterly worthless, you're backing your entire company by strings of data. Strings of worthless data, I might add. Bitcoin has an infinite level of competition, and honestly, Bitcoin is going to be rendered obsolete eventually by some other cryptocurrency. And Bitcoin is already considered old news by a lot of people in the crypto community. I keep up with the crypto community, surprisingly, but a lot of it is, look, I still think crypto is grifto. I still think crypto is absolutely worthless. And Coffeezilla calling out cryptocurrencies for what they are, total pieces of garbage, total pieces of shit. I love it. I'm all here for it, man. I love it when Coffeezilla exposes all these cryptocurrencies. What's even worse, he's not even exposing the cryptocurrencies. He's exposing stupid ass Michael Saylor. Right?
And he said crypto asset, and Stretch isn't a crypto asset. So you're wrong about that too.
It is basically a crypto asset at this point because its entire asset worth is cryptocurrency. Its entire worth is backed by Bitcoin. Strategy is utterly worthless intrinsically because its entire worth is based around holding Bitcoin. Dude, Adam Livingston, you are an idiot, and I hope you react to this video. Do you want to know why? Because you're dumb. Adam, if anybody watches, anybody on this channel, if you guys watch Adam Livingston, I want you to clip this. I want you to clip my reaction to his reaction video, and then I want you to send it to him. All right? Because I want him to react to my reaction because I don't think Adam Livingston realizes that he's revolving his entire life around a Ponzi scheme. Granted, he does have a lot of followers, unfortunately. And the reason he's got a lot of followers is because there's a sucker born every minute. And these suckers all believe I don't even know if he really believes that Bitcoin's a good thing. But this guy is a chud. This guy is the chud of chuds. Cryptocurrency is grifter currency.
Offering something called Stretch. The company uses the proceeds from those sales to then go buy more Bitcoin, and they claim that this has been their fastest launch in history. They say it's grown.
Look how angry Adam Livingston is getting. Look how upset Adam Livingston is for basically having Michael Saylor's bullshit company get called out.
Their revenue faster than the iPhone.
So it took us 7 months to go from $0 to $5 billion in cumulative revenue. And if you compare this historically to other products.
Fong just said a revenue, so what a lot of people are getting hung up on when it comes to these terminology phrases that, traditional finance uses, it's not actually revenue in the classic sense, but because it doesn't fit your mental model of capital.
You know what? It doesn't. You know what it does fit the mental model of? It fits the mental model of what's called a Ponzi scheme. Adam Livingston, brush up on the term Ponzi scheme, and you will find that's exactly what STRC is. Allegedly. I'm just going to say allegedly to cover my ass. Either way, Bitcoin sucks. STRC sucks. deal with it.
Absorption of capital raising, that doesn't necessarily mean that the company didn't make money.
Okay, I can only handle so much Adam Livingston. We're going to go back to the Epic Fury updates. We're going to finish off the Epic Fury updates.
Is very high because they understand that a violation of that ceasefire means a commencement, once again, of Admiral Cooper's forces, which went very poorly for them. So they have a high incentive to maintain that ceasefire.
So crazy,
even though
though, man.
They can't talk and organize as well as they'd like to. And as far as the Houthis,
So crazy.
They have stayed out of it, which of course we think is a good decision by them, and I think is a reflection of the fact that over a year ago in Operation Rough Rider, we had an ongoing and intense campaign that demonstrated American capabilities, which has them hesitating to want to do something on that strait, which I think would be a poor choice.
Good morning, Mr. Secretary, gentlemen. David Zia, Real America's Voice. As commercial shipping ramps up, you know, there was 130 ships a day going through there. As that happens, ships have to anchor up, right, and wait to pass through the narrow strait. Is there any progress with an international force to phase out U.S. military-led escorts or other? Is anyone stepping up to do that?
It's a great question.
Long term.
They should be. There's a lot of talk, and what we've seen in this conflict from allies, and there's a lot of talk, except for the ones that were mentioned by Admiral Cooper in the region who've been phenomenal. Other allies have talked a lot and haven't done anything. And
They talk, and they talk, but they got no grumba. I mean, we'll see what happens ultimately. I mean, we'll see what's going on, but let's keep going, man.
And as the president has pointed out, this is a waterway that the American commerce doesn't use all that much. We don't rely on the energy coming out of the Strait of Hormuz, but Asia does, and Europe does. And
Yeah, other countries absolutely rely on the crude oil from the strait. Without a doubt, dude. They absolutely need it. They require it. They desire it. Without a doubt.
large parts of the rest of the world do. And so their ability to muster a collective defense or a clearing of the straits would be a wonderful thing. And we hear and see the talk about it, but when shots were fired and those countries were needed the most, they weren't there. They weren't in the strait. They weren't alongside us. Their leaders weren't rallying what they have of their navies. If they decide after CENTCOM does the heavy lifting, which again, they should be able to do. We should live in a world where other countries can defend waterways, not just the United States Navy. Should that conclude, which we believe it will, then we would welcome other countries coming in after the fact. But you can't live in a world in perpetuity, and this is a message to the rest of the world and our allies, where you just rely on America to continually do the heavy lifting. Oh, Iran might get a nuclear bomb. Who's going to do something about it? America. And America only. Other allies need to invest in their capabilities so they can project power and do basic tasks like clearing a strait. So we're not counting on it, but it would be wonderful to see it if it ever materialized. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you all for your time. I have a couple questions. I know you said a few weeks ago that Iran's supreme leader was wounded and disfigured. Do you have an update on whether he's even alive at this point? And then another question for you. Iranian embassy accounts are sharing an AI video of Jesus Christ kind of bloodily killing President Donald Trump.
Jesus. Oh my God, really?
The Pentagon have a response.
Oh, and I need to, I'm going to get some jerky real quick. My friends call me Jerky. Oh, yeah. All right.
To this, including the fact that this AI Jesus is casting Trump into hell. And then finally, for Admiral Cooper, could you speak to us about the morale of the American service members that you're seeing in the Middle East? I think Americans are really interested in what their experiences and testimonies are like.
As far as the status of the individual you mentioned, I believe it's the same. Not a lot coming from him right now, understandably so, a lot of fear. Believed to be alive, wounded, and disfigured. Status remains the same. As far as a video like that, of course, that's disgusting and detached from reality. Iran says a lot of things in the propaganda space based on complete lies.
Yeah, that's the thing. Of course, Iran's state media is going to lie to its own people. That is what the Iranian government does. That's exactly what the Iranian government's about. Honestly, I trust our leadership here in America. I actually do, believe it or not.
And their actions have been lies. Oh, we don't target. We see missiles going into civilian facilities and hotels in the Gulf states. They said we only target military targets as you watch drones and missiles go into. So they are going to misrepresent, lie, spin in a multitude of ways, which we are quite used to. Ultimately, they need to come to the table and make a deal. And I'll hand it over to Admiral Cooper, please.
Yeah, I would just reiterate my previous comment. Morale is very high. And anyone in the military can take about 2 seconds to figure out what morale looks like by meeting
hell yeah.
people. And it is crystal clear. These are motivated young men and women. I had the wonderful privilege of writing a letter early on in the operation to the team forward. And I told them this was going to be a mission of extreme consequence. And serving at a time where you are making a difference, consequential, as the Secretary and the Chairman have described over and over again, is incredibly and deeply meaningful. And I think that's the key part of the drive, as well as being great teammates across the board. It's a privilege to watch.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah.
Thank you. Jerry Dunleavy with Just the News. I have a couple of questions. First is some critics of the Trump administration policy, including former NCTC Director Joe Kent, have attempted to claim that the Trump...
Oh, Joe Kent, dude. I'm so done hearing about that guy. Freaking Joe Kent, bro. Mother effing Joe Kent.
Administration's policy of zero enrichment for the Iranians is not actually President Trump's policy, but was foisted upon him by the Israelis. Looking back, doing a bit of a refresher for myself, I saw that zero enrichment was the Trump State Department's policy in the first admin.
Just stop for a second. As someone who, unlike the individual you referenced, is in the presence of the president nearly every day and has been inside every single key meeting that has happened surrounding the idea of Operation Epic Fury, not a single thing has been foisted upon the President of the United States. President Trump makes his own decisions about the...
He's a grown... Dude, Trump's a grown-ass man, exactly. He makes his own decisions. And for that reporter to imply otherwise, that reporter sucks ass. People are like, oh, but the reporter's doing his job. No, he has Trump derangement syndrome. That's it. TDS, bro. TDS. Simple as that. Give me one more moment, you guys. I got to check some analytics. No, but I do want to thank you guys for taking the time to subscribe to the channel. The more subscribers we get, the better. It definitely helps out a lot. And you guys make it possible. You guys do make this show possible. In every way. Give me a few more seconds, okay? Give me a few moments, you guys. No, but thank you guys for subscribing to the channel, man. I appreciate it. Let's keep
this
going.
country and defending our interest, and then working with allies and partners, in this case, Israel, who's got a lot of will and a lot of capabilities, which we're grateful for. Nothing gets foisted on President Trump. So those people who are not in those meetings who like to say things about that are just flat wrong.
I had a quick one for Admiral Cooper.
Yeah, a lot of these reporters have no idea what the hell's going on.
That's okay.
They're oblivious, man. They don't live in reality. I think a lot of these reporters are extremely disconnected and from reality. That's what I think. I think Hegseth is the man, by the way.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for being here. So during Operation Epic Fury, 13 U.S. service members have lost their lives. Some of them in an apparent aircraft refueling accident, and some of them from Iranian strikes, including a drone strike. I was wondering if you could share a little bit with us about how those Iranian strikes were able to be successful, and what lessons you've learned, and how you're applying those lessons in the future to make sure that we're able to defend a little bit better against that sort of
Sure, a really broad question, but first, we will always honor the fallen, and the 13 who lost their lives really helped steel the resolve and congeal the motivation of the forces that are perturbed. I met many people who knew the fallen personally. I met many who were reported as wounded and are back. 90% of those who have been wounded have been back to duty. It gives you a sense of purpose and motivation. We have collected dozens, if not hundreds, of lessons learned. And as we sit here right now, the Joint Force across the board is taking them and very tactically applying them right now, right here, right now. If I think about a football analogy, if it's halftime or between the third and fourth quarter, great teams are always adjusting, and we are certainly a great team, and that's what we're doing right now, taking the lessons and applying them in a meaningful way. What those are, I'm not going to talk about.
I'll say that.
Yeah, you can't give away classified information, but he's right. Honestly, good teams end up finding ways after halftime to adjust and adapt. It's really the name of the game, adjust and adapt. If you notice something's not working the way it should, adjust and adapt. You know, making adjustments is not a sign of weakness. In all reality, it's a sign of strength. If you have the ability to admit that you're wrong on something, I think it's a sign of strength more than anything. And it's a very positive sign of strength, and I wish more people would realize that consistency is not the key. I think consistently showing up is good, but consistency overall is bad, because if you're consistent, you tend to be doing consistently the same thing. You need to adjust and adapt. Consistency is really poison at the end of the day. Adjust and adapt. That's it. Straight up. Trump is playing 4D chess, dude. In my opinion, I think Trump is playing 4D chess. That's what I believe.
They extend also outside of CENTCOM and across the rest of the Joint Force. We are a learning organization, so adversaries around the world should recognize that and be aware of that.
No doubt. And likewise, I mean, the chairman and I have had the opportunity to greet those 13 and their families at Dover, and it does steel our resolve. And I can just attest to the planning that went into every aspect of this, and force protection, ensuring that CENTCOM has whatever it needs and that they're taking the proper posture has always been a number one in this effort. Last question.
Thank you, Secretary Hegseth. There's reporting that says U.S. intelligence indicates China is preparing weapons shipments to Iran during this ceasefire. What's your reaction? Are these reports accurate, and what would be the consequences for the Chinese if they move forward with these shipments?
Well, as you know, President Trump has a very strong and direct relationship with President Xi, and they've communicated on that, and China has assured us that that indeed is not going to happen, and in the spirit of the meeting they'll have next month. Thank you very much.
Is the U.S. planning on military action against Cuba?
Navy still, Mr. Secretary.
Mr. Secretary.
I love how the reporters continue to ask questions, especially when they're right at the exits. There's no way in hell they're going to answer your questions. They're right next to the door. I mean, I guess you give them an A for effort for trying to get their question out, but whatever. I think most of the reporters, man, are just dumber than a box of rocks sometimes, man.
I'm so
Some of these
sorry.
reporters, man, they're just
Camera fell off my shoulder.
dumb as hell. Anyway, let's watch. God, I can't believe I'm watching this.
Money. I get into this all the time when people say strategy doesn't make any money, but I say no, they actually do. They make the most amount of the best money because they buy the most amount of Bitcoin.
Oh my God, this guy has drank the Kool-Aid. He thinks that buying Bitcoin means that you're gonna just magically get rich. No, a lot of people who bought at like $100,000 are now poorer because they bought at $100,000. They bought into a Ponzi scheme. And because they were the greater fool in that equation, once Bitcoin crashed to where it deserved to crash to, it should have crashed to zero, but it crashed. It was well deserved. And here's the thing, even if Bitcoin does go back up, it's eventually going to crash down to near zero levels, which is one of the reasons why I'm such an advocate for betting against Bitcoin, because I don't believe in Bitcoin at all. I think Bitcoin is a pure play Ponzi scheme. I think it's one of the worst Ponzi schemes around. And I feel bad for anybody who thinks it's a legitimate currency or anything, or even thinks it's a legitimate asset, because it's not. Bitcoin is fake Ponzi money. Whether you guys just can't admit it, though, that Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme.
If they didn't make money, then how could they have purchased the Bitcoin? So often what this is people will say, well, that's raising money. That's not making money.
That is raising money. That is raising money. If you have to issue new shares of your underlying asset below, so there's micro wiener strategy stock and then there's the STRC stock. They're two separate things. And you know what? It's got to be illegal. I would assume that what Michael Saylor's doing is purely illegal, but then again, I don't know. I don't think the SEC even knows their own rule books. But Michael Saylor is issuing shares, last time I checked, of micro wiener strategy, so that way he can fund the dividend payout for STRC. Tell me, is it or is it not a Ponzi scheme? It's clearly a Ponzi. And the sooner that people admit this, the better. The fact that it's a Bitcoin treasury is super sus. It's incredibly sus.
Regardless, it's capital absorption, and people put way too much stock into what word is being used to describe it. Strategy.
No, you should put stock into what word is being used. If he's issuing shares, you can't just skirt over that fact in the sense that Michael Saylor isn't even selling Bitcoin, right? If Michael Saylor was selling Bitcoin to provide the dividend, okay. I still think MicroStrategy is worthless at the end of the day because it's backed by a Ponzi scheme. But at the end of the day, good. Holy fucking shit.
Strategy's getting the money, and then they're buying Bitcoin. It's that simple.
The most successful products in the world. The Apple iPhone took about a year to get to $5 billion of cumulative revenue. So from a pure product perspective, you could argue that Stretch is the fastest growing product in the history of the world.
Wow.
Now, setting aside the fact that Stretch is not really a product, it's a stock, those are still some mind-blowing numbers. So
they sure are mind-blowing numbers. It's incredible. It's
because Bitcoin goes up rapidly, and then and the reason that STRC is going up rapidly is because Michael Saylor is issuing shares of Strategy, diluting the shareholders of Strategy. I can't even with Adam Livingston. The fact that he is defending Michael Saylor proves that Adam Livingston is a chud.
It's growing exponentially right now.
What does Stretch do? I'm going to try to make it simple. You put in your money, they say they're going to yield about 11.5% a year. Now, that is a variable interest rate, but it's basically double-digit returns, which is just mind-blowing. I mean, it's way more than anything you would get in your normal bank.
Look how angry Adam Livingston is getting. Do you see that? Do you see the rage he's holding back? I'm loving this, dude. I'm eating this up, dude. I'm freaking bricked up right now. Watching, because the amount of anger that I get when watching Adam Livingston talk about Bitcoin as if it's like the savior of everything. He's making the faces that I make when I have to watch Adam Livingston promote his Ponzi
bank account, and that's got people curious. There's always a question with all of this financial engineering. Anytime you see it, you always wonder, what is the catch? And I like to describe it like a perpetual.
What is the catch? Let's see if you find the catch, or if you just compare it to something that is not a preferred stock, and let's see if you can properly describe how the mechanisms are the same.
Yeah, I could describe it. Michael Saylor issues shares of Micro Wiener Strategies. And then, after he issues those shares, people buy those shares. And then that gives Michael Saylor money. Then Michael Saylor takes that money and he distributes it to all the STRC shareholders as a dividend. Ergo, fucking Ponzi. He doesn't even sell any of the Bitcoin. You know, if he sold the Bitcoin to fund the dividend, that's one thing. But if you were issuing shares on one stock to fund the dividend of another, oh, you know what that is? That's a Ponzi scheme. Adam Livingston is trying to dress up he's trying to put makeup on a Ponzi scheme and tell us that it's legit. He's trying to tell us, I mean, Adam Livingston is gaslighting the crap out of us right now, allegedly.
I doubt he'll be able to do it, but let's see.
Motion machine. You may have seen, these videos of people, they invent a system that can come up with free energy. And there's always, some weird base plate that's made out of wood or something that they won't let you inspect. And that's because there's always a battery hidden somewhere in the device, because no matter how many times people say they've cheated thermodynamics, actually they've just cheated you. They've hidden the actual system.
Yep. Oh, Adam Livingston, you're getting fucking called out, you prick. Adam Livingston is getting called out. I mean, obviously, he's not getting called out directly, but indirectly, this is calling out everything that Adam Livingston holds dear. Adam Livingston needs to know that his entire channel promotes a stupid Ponzi scheme. I want that to be clear. Adam Livingston is promoting a Ponzi. And honestly, Coffeezilla's analogy is so fucking spot on. It is incredibly spot on, actually, because perpetual motion machines are a great example of this. You're getting cheated. The Micro Wiener Strategies people are getting cheated. And you deserve it. Anybody who's ever invested in Micro Wiener Strategies, if you lose money, you deserve it. Now, I know that Tim has a little bit of money in Micro Wiener Strategies. I get it. I don't want Tim to lose his money. That's why I say do not put all your eggs in one basket. If there's one thing I will say, never, and I mean never, put all your eggs in one basket. Bad idea, man. Bad idea. I'm going to check the markets real quick. Hold on. Fucking insane, though, man. Oh. Give me just another moment, everybody. Sorry for the delay. Man, Intel stock has climbed up, man. I love Intel. I'm a huge Intel fan, by the way. In case you guys already know something. To be honest, man, I'm kicking butt. Yeah, my portfolio is looking hot right now, dude. I love it.
And you don't really fully understand that when you're getting.
So right now he is implying that strategy is hiding something.
Well, no, they're not hiding anything. In fact, if anything, Michael Saylor's admitted that Micro Wiener Strategies issue they issue shares. And I keep having to repeat myself because Adam Livingston doesn't seem to understand. Basically, Michael Saylor's entire company is a treasury for a product that has no intrinsic value. It would be like if I created an entire company and said I was a Pokemon card treasury. Do you know how stupid that would be? Because if you are backing your entire company by a collectible, whether it's physical or digital, you could argue that Bitcoin's a digital collectible because it lacks intrinsic value, and the only reason people want to have it is because of sentiment, and that's it. Other than that, it's just a worthless string of data. Bitcoin is a worthless string of data with no intrinsic value. This is why all the Bitcoin bros piss me off to no end, and I know they're full of crap. I know the Bitcoin bros at the end of the day are full of shit. They are massively full of crap. And I think even they know it.
You see what he just did? He's already poisoning the well, essentially kind of making a character assassination of the company by claiming...
How? How the hell is he making a character assassination of Micro Wiener Strategy when they're actually backing their entire company by a Ponzi scheme? You tell me. I think Michael Saylor did a good job of assassinating his own character, to be honest, and I think Micro Wiener Strategies did the same. I would never, if anything, I would short Micro Wiener Strategies. If I was a big major hedge fund, I'd be shorting the hell out of Micro Wiener Strategies as much as I could. That's not financial advice, but it's sound because Michael Saylor's a prick. Allegedly. I always say allegedly just to cover my ass. But anyway, look, it's a Ponzi.
Meaning that there is this hidden mechanism as if the risks aren't disclosed.
And that's really how I feel about all too good to be true yields in finance.
This is how I feel about them. You notice how he just said the word feel?
Did you notice, Adam Livingston, your entire channel is based on feelings? You talk about feelings more than anybody. Are you kidding me? Oh, I hate Adam Livingston so much right now, dude. I mean, this guy's channel already sucks. But oh my God.
Feels that, but of course he can't actually describe the mechanism because he doesn't have anything to go to. This is all emotional. Notice that word he used. It's feel.
How is it emotional? He gave you a pretty damn good analogy of what Micro Wiener Strategies is doing, you prick.
There's always...
God. Adam Livingston is basically... Dude, Adam Livingston is looking like a freaking loser right now. And he is. He's a scam. well, I'm not going to say he's a scam. Allegedly, I think he's a scam artist. But Coffeezilla, dude, I have nothing but praise for you, man. I'm glad that you're going after STRC for being a Ponzi.
Is a battery hiding somewhere or a risk that you're not really aware you're taking on. Like if you think back to the Terra Luna collapse.
And there it is. There it is, predicted exactly, comparing Stretch and strategy to Terra Luna, which, to be clear, didn't have 780,000 Bitcoin. That is verified by Big Four auditors. So instead of naming the mechanism, so far this is just emotional because it's based on feeling, and then you need to compare it to a crypto scam from years ago. We are 2 minutes and 35 seconds into this 18-minute video, and it's already ridiculously stupid.
As a stable...
Are you kidding me? If anything, this is legendary. What Coffeezilla is doing right now is legendary. He's calling out the entire Bitcoin grift. And for that, I thank him. And for that, I absolutely thank him, man. Seriously, good job to Coffeezilla, man. Coffeezilla is doing God's work right now, dude. Coffeezilla is doing God's freaking work, bro. For calling out the crypto grift.
Coin, an algorithmic stablecoin involved, which was supposedly pegged to $1 until it suddenly wasn't, and then everyone lost their money suddenly in
Stretch isn't a stablecoin. It's not close to the same thing.
a crash. But before that,
I swear this guy is mentally, you know what. Adam Livingston is so dumb. Let's keep going.
it had yielded about 20% returns. People thought it couldn't fail. And so it goes for many of the most famous financial engineering projects throughout time. It's only obvious where the risk was in hindsight for a lot of people. But I'm making this video to tell you it's also obvious in foresight if you...
Yeah, it's obvious right now. It's obvious right now that Michael Saylor is scamming you, allegedly. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Guess who's back again? GMP's back.
GMPC3H says.
GMP, baby!
Guess who's back? Back
Guess
again.
who's back?
GMP's back.
Guess who's
Tell
back?
a friend.
Guess who's back?
Annie01200 says. Hi GMP.
It's good to see GMP back, dude. GMP. He's got a big D.
You know where to look. And you just know that super high yields always carry a lot of risk. The only question is, where does...
Super high yields always carry a high amount of risk. That's what he's saying. Okay.
That's kind of true. I mean, look, anytime you get a high dividend yield, you kind of have to ask yourself the question, why is the yield so high? Why? So, and there are such things as dividend traps, by the way. Don't forget that. Adam Livingston is Adam Livingston, look at Coffeezilla. Coffeezilla looks like a healthy young man who is calling out Ponzi schemes. And Adam Livingston looks pale as a ghost and honestly doesn't look like he sleeps much.
Okay, well that's the
allegedly.
Thing is because this is a new emerging asset class and high is subjective depending on who you are. Right now it feels like Stretch has found the sweet spot of the market pricing the risk at 11.5%. They will lend money to strategy. This is a new type of asset that's never been created before in human history, so there is...
Okay, first off, Ponzi schemes have been created throughout human history. Has this guy ever studied a Ponzi scheme? What STRC is doing is pretty much a Ponzi. In Wall Street, people who understand investing, by the way, see through people like Adam Livingston. They see through scam artists like Michael Saylor, allegedly. They see through them because they know it's bullshit.
There's no prior comparison, and the market is pricing the risk at 11%. They are saying, we will lend strategy the money if you pay us 11.5%.
Why would anybody lend... Hold on. I got to hear that again.
New type of asset that's never been created before in human history, so there is no prior comparison, and the market is pricing the risk at 11%. They are saying, We will lend Strategy the money if you pay us 11.5%. And everything is transparent. You can go to the website. All of the financials are on the home page of the website. So
And that's the problem. It is transparent, but it's so clearly and obviously a Ponzi scheme is all I'm saying. He's not even selling Bitcoin to fund the dividend. He is issuing more shares of MicroStrategy. It is so bloody simple. This is crazy.
Decide for yourself if that risk is worth it, and all of them are disclosed.
It is not worth it. Not worth it at all, dude. Not financial advice, but it's obviously not worth it.
None of this is hidden. Shocker, I know.
That risk exists in any of these engineering projects. And by the way, I'm not just you.
By the way, if you guys think that Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme, double tap the screen. If you guys think that Michael Saylor is grifting, allegedly, double tap your screen. If you guys cannot stand Adam Livingston and think he's a chud, double tap your screens.
Using that word financial engineering as some sort of, gotcha, like that's how Michael Saylor describes his own product.
Stretch is the simplest instrument we've ever created from the point of view of the investor. It's the most ambitious.
Oh, look at him like agreeing with Michael Saylor. Like, yeah, Michael Saylor, you're so hot. You're so sexy, Michael Saylor.
Piece of finance.
Oh my God, Michael Saylor.
Engineering from the point of view of the issuer.
And I think this is at the heart of the mismatch. When most people hear about Stretch, their friends tell them about it. Michael Saylor is talking about it all the time. They're given a very simple view, a very too good to be true view, where Stretch is
if it's simple.
I love the fact that Coffeezilla is calling out all the bullshit, dude. Coffeezilla is exposing the bullshit, dude.
How is that an equivalent of too good to be true? What are you talking about?
Money market-like instrument where it's like a bank, where it's like a savings account, but it's paying you 11.5%.
Every single time they talk about it being like a money market account is reference to the volatility, which is at 1.7% in the last 30 days. So yes, it does function like a money market account because it's low volatility. That does not mean that it...
It's disgusting. It's a disgusting grift, and that's the thing. It's all a grift. It is all a grift. It is an absolute grift of a grift of a grift of a grift. It is a grift, everybody. A super grift. The griftiest of all grifts. And the thriftiest of all thrifts. Michael Saylor. I don't trust Michael Saylor. I don't. I think Michael Saylor is kind of a prick, and yeah. What do you guys think, though? Do you guys think that Michael Saylor is a total prick? I think he is, dude. I think he's an arrogant prick. I think he's arrogant. I think he's terrible. Let's keep watching this.
Is a money market account, or it's not quite as volatile, but we have seen time and time again that Stretch holds its value. The signal was during the largest Bitcoin price crash ever in the history of the asset on February 5th, Stretch rebounded the very next day. So if it's not quite like a money market, if you're describing a new asset that's ever been made before, you must use existing terms to describe it to people, okay? It's literally that simple.
But you dig into the details, and
It's simple, yeah. It's called a Ponzi scheme. I keep telling you, Adam Livingston, but you never listen to me. What Michael Saylor is doing is called a Ponzi scheme. Because he's not only is it a Ponzi scheme, he's also using a Ponzi scheme known as Bitcoin to back his entire Micro Wiener Strategies company, all right?
Not what it is. And the risks are not too different from the risks you have.
Nobody buys Stretch thinking that it's a money market account because they are buying a stock.
Just buying Bitcoin. Except the way those risks manifest in the financial engineering instrument are just very different. Instead of getting a very volatile product, you are tying your risk to Bitcoin, more specifically strategy and their general ability to pay this yield in perpetuity forever. So this video, I will admit, is going to be a long one, but maybe we should start by just taking a look at some of these honestly insane ads that they've been running about Stretch. Okay, so this is a tweet from the executive chairman of Strategy, Michael.
Oh yeah, the AI slop. That's right. There's been that AI slop ad that Michael Saylor put out was so ridiculous. I saw it. Martin Shkreli made fun of it because it is stupid. Yeah, it's so it's so ridiculous. Yeah, Michael Saylor is a chud. I mean, if we're gonna be honest with each other, you guys, Michael Saylor is the chuddiest chud that ever chudded. But yeah, no, I can't stand Michael Saylor, man. I think that guy is ridiculous. Okay, let's keep watching Michael Saylor.
Do we even watch this like a complaint about the AI commercial being cringe where you're not...
It is cringy, by the way. It's a cringy ass AI commercial, and for a cringy ass product called STRC. Adam Livingston, you're not winning this battle. You're not winning the war either.
Naming the mechanism of how Stretch or strategy is fraudulent. And
I believe in sound money. This is not sound money. Bitcoin is not sound money. Bitcoin is not going to save your existence. Bitcoin is only going to make you poor. People who say, you know, all those people that were like, you better get into Bitcoin or else you're going to stay poor forever. No, if you want to stay poor forever, you're going to believe that Bitcoin's actually worth it. That's the best way to stay poor, is to get into Bitcoin.
Anyway,
it says, you weren't meant to live an uncomfortable life. And then this is the video.
Are you on vacation here?
All right, I'm skipping it. We're not watching the ad.
Why not? Are you embarrassed that you're embarrassed? You're embarrassed that Michael Saylor is a fucking chud. That's why you won't watch the ad, you chud.
Okay, I'm going to pause to let your brain absorb the abomination. That was an AI-generated retired engineer who invested their savings into MicroStrategy's Stretch. Now they're making 11% a year. I mean, do I even need to say it's too good to be true when it's literally a fake?
When you have to use AI slop to get your point across, you have no point. That's what I'm talking about. When you have to use AI slop and you can't even use a real person. You know, if you want to convince me that STRC is actually worth it, Michael Saylor, how about you make an actual video ad of an actual person who wants to put their life savings into your stupid thing? And by the way, if anybody does put their life savings in STRC, you're a moron. I mean, you're beyond help. You're beyond redemption. Maybe not beyond redemption, but you don't have the mental faculty to be able to invest, and you'll fall for any sort of snake oil. Look, what Michael Saylor is selling, just like Coffeezilla is implying, is snake oil. The entire Micro Wiener Strategies company is backed by snake oil, and the entire STRC is backed by snake oil squared.
Fake ad like this.
How is it a fake ad?
Allegedly. And it is a fake ad because it's AI slop, Adam Livingston, you chud.
It's a legitimate ad. Fake?
Okay, it's not. It's AI slop, dude. It's an AI ad. It's a real ad on paper, but it's a stupid ad. It's AI slop. Just admit Michael Saylor is a chud and he wants to screw you out of your money. Allegedly. Let's keep going.
Ad? What does that even mean? Notice how terrible this is already. What are you talking about? He's using these words feel. It is a fake ad.
Adam Livingston, you can't justify any of this, can you? Adam Livingston is grasping for straws, bro.
It's cringe. Okay, are you going to dispute whether or not they can pay the 11.5%? Let's see if you do it, because so far, I'm wasting my time. I'm 5 minutes, 37 seconds in, haven't heard a single good critique.
Person literally does not exist.
Are you kidding me? Coffeezilla's made nothing but good points. Adam Livingston, you're saying that Coffeezilla hasn't made a good point. He's made several good points. You are so far. You have Michael Saylor's you know what so far down your throat. that you can't even see the forest from the trees. You can't admit that STRC is basically a Ponzi, allegedly.
But you can see the pitch is pretty simple. They're not explaining the risks. They're just showing you a girl on a beach claiming she's retired. And my point is, this is not a sophisticated pitch. And that's actually by design. Michael Saylor constantly harps about how simple the pitch for Stretch.
You know, one more thing that I just thought of. He keeps saying they're not disclosing the risks. Michael Saylor discloses the risks of his equities more than any other chief executive officer or executive chairman on earth. There is no...
Yeah, he discloses them, but not accurately. You can disclose risks and not be accurate about the risks. I'll give you an example. I can say that whacking my head with this bottle will be okay. But I may not disclose some of the other factors, like if I do this maybe 1,000 times, it's going to start to hurt. Doesn't that make sense? It's got to make sense to a certain point. Hold on. Sorry about that. Thought I heard something. But no, Michael Saylor's a chud.
No other lead of a company that goes into detail about the risks more than this guy does. He literally says, if you like amplified Bitcoin, buy the equity. If you like the yield, buy Stretch.
How is it amplified Bitcoin, by the way? Because if you get into micro-wiener strategies, it seems that you lose more than you gain.
I guarantee you that this guy hasn't done the math of actually what it takes to pay the dividends, because otherwise, if he did, he wouldn't even...
Okay, but the methodology in which he's paying the dividends is what's in question, you fool. The methodology. If you're issuing shares to your shareholders and then using the funds that you get from the issuance of those new shares and diluting your existing shareholders and using it to fund the dividend, do you know how idiotic that is? Do you know how much of a Ponzi scheme that is? I just don't understand how Adam Livingston can defend this. I'm putting this into the most layman terms possible. You're screwing one group of shareholders to fund another.
And be upset about this thing.
Stretch is the simplest instrument we've ever created. Here's what I realize, right? The world doesn't want you to write 10,000 pages of history to explain what's going on. They don't have time to read. The world just wants the answer.
Exactly.
What do I want? I want to put my money in a bank. I want them to pay me 10%. I don't want the government to tax it. Okay, how long was that conversation? That was like 12 seconds?
Right, so key to strategy is its simplicity, according to Michael Saylor. That's what the world wants, and specifically, he's pitching to retail investors. He's pitching to everyday investors. He says most of the buyers are everyday people.
In fact,
yeah, because no institutional, and by the way, one of the reasons, and that's a bad sign, one of the reasons why institutional investors are not getting into STRC is because they know it's a Ponzi scheme. The retail investors like Adam Livingston are increasingly gullible, and that's a problem. Guys like Adam Livingston and the rest of the retail investors that subscribe to this idiot's channel are increasingly gullible, and they'll fall for it. But here's the thing. Institutional interest into STRC is probably pretty minimal. I wouldn't be surprised, because because institutional investors understand what investing is all about. They understand what is valuable and what is not. There is no value, really, in all actuality, in STRC because its entire funding basis is based on a Ponzi scheme at the root core of it. The difference between Adam Livingston and I is I believe the root cause of the problem is Bitcoin. He believes it's the solution. We have diametrically opposed viewpoints on this one, but he's drank the Kool-Aid too much. He's drank the Kool-Aid a little too much. And Bitcoin is not a true asset. It is a Ponzi.
80% of
I'll say allegedly just to cover my ass.
Is held by retail investors. And so it's meant to be a retail product that's really easily accessible by anybody.
80% of this thing that's raising billions of dollars is being held by mom and pops, not institutional investors who understand the risks of...
Oh, shit. Coffeezilla is pointing out exactly what I'm saying. Holy shit, I'm happy about this. Coffeezilla and I, we're on the same wavelength. Adam Livingston is on the same wavelength with a turd.
For stocks who
it's not invested in by retail investors because it doesn't have a credit rating, because Strategy only has a credit rating from one institution that counts their Bitcoin against them. That's correct. They actually view their Bitcoin as a liability.
Bitcoin is a liability. It's strings of data. Bitcoin is absolutely a liability. Are you kidding me? If you have an entire company that is backed by a Ponzi scheme known as Bitcoin, that would make your entire thesis of your company a Ponzi scheme in proxy. What are we doing here? What are we doing?
On the balance sheet. When it comes to institutional capital, there are these things called mandates, and they literally cannot reach the asset unless there is a credit rating. Strategy has a B-, which is a junk level credit rating because the credit rating...
Yeah, and the reason that I'm surprised it's not lower. Michael Saylor's credit, honestly, Micro Wiener Strategies having a B- for their credit rating is actually, in my opinion, far too high. They should not have a positive credit rating, period, end of story. You know it, I know it, the rest of the American people should know it, but, people are not going to be honest about this, unfortunately. And, yeah. God, the more I hear about Michael Saylor, the more I want to throw up in my mouth. Anytime I hear about Michael Saylor, I just get disgusted. I just want to throw up, man. I just want to throw up. Michael Saylor. Freaking insane, though, man. Effing insane. I wish you donated $60,000, dude. That'd be tight. Le Michael Saylor. What's up, Not Nerds Tag? What's going on, my brony bro?
Not Nerds Tag 617 says, yo, what up?
What up, brony?
Agencies will look at $56 billion of Bitcoin and say that's a bad thing. So that's why the institutions aren't flooding in yet, because investing is locked behind mandates and you need credit ratings. I'm sorry, bruh, but even if you're a bank, you can't even custody Bitcoin without a tremendous capital charge due to the banking accounting frameworks out there. But I will just ask, why is it a flaw that retail investors are buying this thing? And we'll see if he has an answer.
No, it's a very big flaw because retail investors are often uneducated and don't understand investing. And institutional investors, honestly, if you want to understand what a good investment is, sometimes you just have to look at institutional interest. If institutions are interested in buying up the shares for the long term, that's a sign that it's probably a good investment. And one of the reasons why Micro Wiener Strategies, Michael Saylor's company, has a lower credit rating is because, honestly, Bitcoin is a liability. Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme backed by nothing. It is a string of zeros and ones. It has no real use case in the real world. And the only reason people get into it is because they're gamblers. There's a lot of gamblers that get into Bitcoin. Only gambling fools get into Bitcoin. And only gambling fools get into micro wiener strategies and STRC, allegedly.
For that, I doubt it.
Understand that they can suspend dividends if they want, who understand that ultimately MicroStrategy has no obligation to pay you back the initial money you put in. That's fine. That's one thing.
If you buy a stock from any company, they don't have an obligation to pay you the money back. What are you even talking about? If you buy a share of Uber stock...
Oh, wait a minute, Adam Livingston, you fool. I thought you were saying that, full disclosure, that Michael Saylor is implying that you're going to basically get the 11%. Adam Livingston is giving so many loser takes. I can't. Like, I love the fact that Coffeezilla is here, because Coffeezilla is at least, how do you call it? His presence in this video is phasing out the douchery that is Adam Livingston.
And Uber goes down, yeah, you lost on your investment. The company doesn't owe you money. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You yourself said that it was a stock, and now you're complaining about an obligation to pay you back your money. It's in the title of the instrument that it's perpetual. It means that it's money that does not have to be paid back.
But we instead have this...
God, Adam Livingston, you are grasping for straws, brother. You are grasping for straws.
Product that's being marketed by their own admission to regular people. They admit it's an ambitious piece of financial engineering, but when they talk about it, they're using words like bank. You know, their CEO is recommending it for low-income investors.
But what about people who are watching who maybe live paycheck to paycheck? They're lower income. Is this a product that would make sense for them?
This is another sort of aspect of this product that excites.
Yeah, the only people who, and this is going to sound a little bit elitist, but the only people who would fall for this are people that have no money and nowhere else to turn. The people who would fall for this scheme are people who don't have a lot of money. I mean, I'm not dissing anybody who doesn't have money. If you're in a bad position, I get it. But of course, people like this guy, allegedly, want to attract those types of people, allegedly. Tiny Lion Gaming, thank you for sending a Sunday for 100 joules. I really greatly appreciate it. Everybody give a shout out to Tiny Lion Gaming for 3. Thank you so much for sending the Sunday for those amount of joules, man. I really do appreciate it, big time. But everybody give a shout out to Tiny Lion Gaming, everybody. We love you, Tiny Lion Gaming. You're the man. You're keeping the channel sexy, keeping the channel afloat. But let's keep going, man. It's just, it's so frustrating. Sup, Mr. Tiny Lion Gaming? I'm a brony bro, dude. As you know, I'm a brony bro, dude.
Excites me, and I know having written Bitcoin for everyone, right? Like I like to say stretches for everyone. And I know this is important to you, is a product that is for people across all income levels.
But is it really for everyone? I mean, if you just...
I don't think it's for everybody. I think it's for the poor and desperate, to be honest. And what's going to happen is the poor and desperate are always going to get screwed by the one and only Michael Saylor, allegedly. Allegedly. No, look, if you back your entire company by Bitcoin, I mean, I think you're a fool. I think you're irresponsible and you don't deserve to be a part of that company at all. I think that company needs to be reformed or just completely scrapped. But you don't want to back your entire company by Bitcoin. I think that is a foolish adventure. Completely.
Just have a rainy day.
Do you like 11.5%? What do you recommend they invest in? Is this guy more qualified to give investing advice to the paycheck to paycheck person out there? You know, rather than an executive chairman who took a company of $250 million cash to $56 billion of Bitcoin?
A fund, should you...
How are you justifying this, Adam Livingston? What the hell? Adam Livingston's sick. It's disgusting. But no, I do want to thank you guys for your continuous support of the channel. It really does make the difference, the biggest difference of all. But let's keep watching this, man. Let's keep watching.
Be investing what was in a money market, what was in a bank into Stretch, right? The way they talk about it, really, you'd be forgiven for believing that, yes, it's kind of the same. I mean, her question literally was people living paycheck to paycheck.
Paycheck to paycheck.
And he said, yes, you should invest in their preferred stock where the primary risk is tied to both coin, a known volatile product, and MicroStrategy.
Yeah, it's tied to both of those things. Basically, you're getting exposure to Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, as we have to keep telling all you guys, is a Ponzi. A pure play Ponzi scheme.
Trades at 1.4% volatility. That's what you're missing. They are stripping the volatility out of the asset with Stretch. If you are interested in taking your trapped home equity to buy Bitcoin...
Oh, no, not this ad again. So this guy, Horizon, convert your home equity into Bitcoin. So this is basically another scheme. I would not trust this at all. I would not trust this in any single way. Why would you take part of your home equity and put it into Bitcoin? You're basically taking part of your home equity, which is an actual asset, by the way, and putting it into a non-asset, a fake asset, a Ponzi scheme known as Bitcoin. I just basically saved you guys time. Stay the hell away from this shit. This is a scam. Allegedly. I'll say allegedly just in case.
And the Horizon team is standing by. They will help you take your trapped home equity to buy Bitcoin with no monthly payments. You get to retain home ownership. There are no term limits or income requirements. Scan the QR code or the link in the description if you are interested.
Yeah, anybody dumb enough to take part of their home equity and actually think it's a good idea to transfer it to Bitcoin, I'm speechless. Like, I'm kind of speechless if you think that's a good idea.
Interested. The MSTR shareholders are the ones that take the Bitcoin volatility because Stretch is acting as pseudo leverage amplification. That's why MSTR outperforms Bitcoin over long time horizons, because it is leverage essentially. And like I just said earlier, on the biggest price correction ever in Bitcoin's history, Stretch rebounded in one day.
I'd like to say Stretch is for everyone.
Here's Michael Saylor. Stretch delivers money market-like stability.
True.
With market-leading risk-adjusted returns.
True.
Guys, they are comparing themselves very directly to a money market. Once again,
because it's 1.7% volatility. We are now 8 minutes, 47 seconds in. Not a single good argument for this emotional...
Wait, I thought it was a stock, Adam Livingston. So wait, why would you compare it to a money market? Adam Livingston, man, I'm sorry, brother, but you drank the Bitcoin Kool-Aid. That's a problem.
Ranting here.
Think about it as how you might get paid on a money market, or how, and I like the monthly payout because it almost looks like a paycheck.
So again, you can see why this is compelling to people, right? They're presenting it like such a simple thing. It's just like your savings account, right? But better, but just juiced returns. Now, what is the problem with that?
Still no content here.
Stretch is nothing like a savings.
I love how angry Adam Livingston is getting about all this. He's like, still no content here. Still no, content. Oh, my God. Yeah, Adam Livingston, he promotes how... I love how he's saying that there's no content in what Coffeezilla is saying. Coffeezilla has pointed out so many flaws in STRC. And obviously, we know that Adam Livingston's just doing this. I can't hear you. I can't hear. That's what he's doing. That's what Adam Livingston's absolutely doing, dude. He's just covering his ears and saying, I can't hear you. But no, this is it's utterly mental, dude. It's utterly mental. It's completely mental. It just blows my mind. without a doubt.
Account. It is a stock, meaning the company has no obligation to pay you that money back. Like you,
where do you keep getting that idea? What other company has an obligation to pay you back if you buy a stock and, you get your money back? What are you talking about?
Give them $100.
I think what he's talking about is the fact that guys like the CEO of Micro Wiener Strategies and STRC are basically implying that, if you're low income, you'll at least get income from this. They're implying that, don't worry, you'll always get income, when in all reality, they can cut their stupid dividend at any time. This is why you need a diversified portfolio. This is one of the reasons why, this is not financial advice by any means, but this is one of the reasons why I always say diversify, diversify, diversify. Diversification is so bloody important. I can't state it enough how important diversification is to any sort of investing strategy. It matters, man. It matters a lot.
Does this guy understand anything about markets in the slightest? What are we even doing here?
They have no obligation to pay you back. And you actually find this in sort of the longer podcasts where Michael Saylor gets kind of about some of the risks of this strategy. And he uses the double speak of how and you actually find this in sort of the longer podcasts where Michael Saylor gets kind of about some of the risks of this strategy. And he uses the double speak of how they talk about this stuff to, on the one hand, make it seem like, strategy really has no obligation to pay these people. So there's not much risk of a bankruptcy if they can't pay these obligations, while at the same time, making it seem like they're definitely going to pay you the money.
When we sell STR...
And that's the thing. There's an implication that Michael says, we're going to pay you the money. Don't worry. 11% yield. We'll pay you the money. We're backed by Bitcoin, a Ponzi scheme. We'll pay you the money. Don't worry. You'll get your dividend. Adam Livingston and his low IQ takes, dude. Michael Saylor and his low IQ takes. The irony is that Michael Saylor is actually a smart dude. He's a smart dude that got enamored and drank the Kool-Aid, though. Crazy.
Tina Liongaming says, anything that claims get rich quick is always either a scam or more work than the people are letting on.
Exactly, Tiny Liongaming.
01200 says, true TLG. Tina Liongaming says, that's why I invest in collectible items.
Oh, I don't know, dude. See, that's the problem with collectibles, man. Collectibles are just as bad because collectibles rely on perceptual value and not intrinsic value. So it all depends on the perception. You have to be going with the trends, essentially. Or you have to, and the problem with the collectible market is you have to anticipate the growth of a trend. And that's kind of tough. That's really tough. Anticipating the growth of any trend is really rough. It's not easy. One moment. Making a message. Okay.
ERC, we're selling
Why
equity.
would that negate the
when
other?
you give me $1 million
Why would
to
that
buy a
negate the
preferred
other?
equity with a variable dividend, if you read the securities document and you understand what that security is, you're entering into a perpetual swap. I am agreeing as the issuer to give you SOFR, the standard overnight funds rate, plus a credit spread determined by the company. And you are agreeing to give the company that capital forever. And so
Michael Saylor is full of crap, dude. Saylor is full of you know what.
It's in the title, perpetual. Isn't that amazing? Actually, Saylor describes it pretty much perfectly.
And you're not getting the money back. So it's not an overnight loan. There is no collateral call. You have no redemption right.
The only way to get your money back is to sell it into the market if somebody else wants it. That is what equity investing is. This is not different than other stocks.
Let's see how bad STRC is doing on the market. STRC stock. Okay, 5-day. So it was at 100 at one point. It seems pretty stable for its price. How's its 1 year? Okay, so it's up a little bit. Now, obviously, it's a yielding product. It gives you a dividend. The whole focus is to give you a dividend. That's pretty much it. Crazy.
You can't, it's not like you can go to the...
So wait, it just sounds like a high-yielding bond, but the problem is that the entire bond is backed by Bitcoin. How stupid do you think I am, Michael Saylor? How much of an idiot? I mean, he probably thinks I'm a dumbass.
Randomgian at 9296 says, my comment of how Garza pays me got blocked lotomy. Annie01200 says,
love you, Ty Lord.
I
love
now
you, Ty
have
Lord.
an eye twitch watching Adam.
Dude, yeah.
I am so triggered right now.
Adam Livingston
God,
is tough
this
to
is
watch,
torture,
man.
LOL.
It is torture, dude. It's tough. He's a tough dude to watch because he's just such a chud. But let's keep going, man. Let's keep going.
To the bank and say, give me the $1 million back tomorrow. In fact, you're not getting the money back ever.
Now that sounds a lot different than like what people imagine when they hear, you know, bond, loan, money market, bank.
What are you talking about, dude? Like, you can sell bonds, you can sell stocks. How is this different? And notice what he just did there. He's saying...
It is different because bonds are different than stocks. Naturally. But dude, you can't argue with me on the... I mean, you can argue with me if you want, but you do realize that this has no intrinsic value, dude. There is nothing there.
Well, this is what other people think when they hear this. Oh, thank you for speaking on behalf of everybody exactly what they think when they hear things.
Would you like a bank account that pays you 11% that's tax deferred, STRC?
When Michael Saylor suddenly says, well, you have no redemption right.
You have no redemption right.
Hey, love you too, Ty Lord, man. You're the man, dude. You're the man, dog.
Randomgian at
Everybody give a shout out to my boy,
says,
Ty Lord.
Yep, also hi everyone.
You actually can't get your money back.
In fact, you're not getting the money back
Love ya,
ever.
brother.
You're giving it to us in perpetuity. Our only obligation is a dividend. A dividend, by the way, which they can suspend to avoid insolvency.
If the company couldn't pay the dividend without being insolvent, it would suspend the dividend for 12
Which is just another risk that is publicly disclosed, and that's why the market is pricing the risk at 11.5%.
weeks. By law, you can't pay a dividend on a preferred stock that would create an insolvency event for the issuer.
That all of a sudden changes the narrative. But again, that's going to take more time to explain. And Michael Saylor's whole strategy, ironically, is to go with a much simpler pitch, which is, hey, it's just like a money market, but...
Bro, it's a digital credit instrument, a perpetual preferred stock backed by Bitcoin, first of its kind. If you want to...
Just because it's the first of its kind doesn't mean it needs to exist. Bitcoin is intrinsically worthless. And in all cases, it's more of a digital collectible than anything. It has perceptual value because everybody's hot on Bitcoin. Everybody's like, oh, Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that. But it lacks intrinsic value. It lacks a real backing. It's not backed by gold. It's backed by open source software, which in all reality has been copied several times. Bitcoin has an infinite level of competition at all times, because anybody could take the source code and make their own personal network and then directly compete with Bitcoin by programming their own version of it with the existing software. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Wild.
To explain it to people, if it's low volatility, retains its value, and pays a high dividend, what other ways would you use to describe it? The guy is just using terminology to reach the masses, and you're acting like that is some horrible crime.
Better. It's money market light. And this kind of dual use of language, where there he's kind of defending how it's good for the company. Like, hey, we're not going to get liquidated if Bitcoin goes down because we technically owe these people nothing. We can suspend the dividend.
It is literally impossible to create an insolvency or to bankrupt an issuer of a preferred stock.
That's right. And that's probably why so much capital is going into Stretch, because they love that risk profile. They know that the company doesn't have to pay that money back. That is a great selling point for the company. And when you see this growth of Stretch, you could probably see why that has something to do with it.
But on the other hand, like pitching it like a money market or pitching it like a bank, where in both of those cases, you are reasonable to expect to have.
Coffeezilla's main problem, Adam Livingston, whether you can see it or not, his main problem with it is the fact that it's backed by Bitcoin. And essentially, Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme. You're backing an entire financial entity by Bitcoin. Let that sink in for a second, everybody. Let that sink in. I'm going to take a quick piss. Okay. Let's keep on watching, man. Okay, so Tiny Lion Gaming is saying, yeah, but Bitcoin can go belly up at any time. It's a stupid investment unless you're pumping and dumping. Exactly. No, Bitcoin is a useless investment. But here's the problem, is Bitcoin is not money. Nick Merrill, I think what you're not understanding is that Bitcoin at the end of the day is just worthless zeros and ones. It is literally a string of data on a public ledger. That doesn't make it special. It makes it stupid. And that's the difference that you're not seeing. It's not intrinsically valuable.
Your money back. But here, obviously,
it is the most
But yeah, if you back your entire company by a Ponzi scheme known as Bitcoin, Bitcoin's a Ponzi. Absolutely, it's a Ponzi scheme. But if you're backing your entire company based on a Ponzi scheme, I think you have a lot to learn about how to be a business owner at that point.
Liquid preferred stock in the market. It just traded like over $1.5 billion worth in a single day. So if you want to get your money back, you probably can, okay? The title is perpetual in the product. Saylor describes it to you. It's perpetual. We don't have to get you your money back. If you want your money back, you have to sell it to a market participant just like any other stock. So right now we're over 2/3 of the way into the video, and the best he can come up with is like, I don't like how you said that it's kind of like it's a bank account.
You don't.
Yeah, it is dumb. Everything Michael Saylor says when it comes to Bitcoin, it's like the dude, Michael Saylor has his head so far up his own you-know-what that he can't see the forest from the trees.
Now, why haven't people realized this? Why haven't people realized there could be a risk of this stock?
It's because retail investors are stupid. Let's just not candy coat it. Most retail investors are really dumb. Now, if you're an educated retail investor, that's different. If you've read the works of actual investors and you try to understand investing and what it takes to be a value investor, then yes, you understand what's valuable and what's not. As an actual experienced investor, I may be a retail investor. I'm not an institutional one, but I'm very experienced. I know what a Ponzi scheme looks like, and I know what is a legit investment. Anything that says crypto or Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme. Simple as that. And if Michael Saylor is going to back his entire company based on a Ponzi scheme, I will never invest in it. If anything, I'll probably be more likely to short it. That's not financial advice. It's just a fact of how I exist. I will most likely short it. What's really valuable are actual assets, stocks, real estate, silver, gold. Those are real assets. Save your assets, not your money. Repeat after me, folks. Save your assets, not your money. Once again, save your assets, not your money. Okay? Good.
Going down, and them ultimately not getting their $100 back that they put in. Well, this is where we get to some of that financial engineering we were talking about. Part of the way Stretch mimics a bank account, mimics a savings account, is that they are trying to keep it as close to $100 in value at all times. You can see Michael Saylor posted, it's a 1 cent market closed at par, meaning the idea is there's almost no volatility in this stock.
Why did you wait till this far in the video to say that? Is JP Morgan paying you? Jamie Dimon, are you paying this guy?
Here's the problem, Adam Livingston. Is Michael Saylor paying you to defend him so mercilessly? That's the question. No, we need to start asking the question, is Michael Saylor paying Adam Livingston? Coffeezilla knows that Bitcoin's a Ponzi scheme. It's pretty obvious. And he's trying to call out Michael Saylor for being a no-good grifter. But Adam Livingston here, we need to wonder if you're being paid by Michael Saylor. I think we need to ask that question. Are you being paid by Michael Saylor to glaze him up? I mean, people ask me the question, are you being paid by Donald Trump's administration to glaze him up? No. I'm in it for the love of the game. I glaze meat for the love of the game.
You can also see a longer duration here where it mostly hovers around $100. Now, how are they achieving this? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Basically,
notice he said that. It is simple, isn't it? He just said it is simple. I love that. He's admitting it's simple.
It falls below $100. They just raise the dividend, start offering more money until enough people buy it to bring it at $100. And above $100, they issue more shares to make it fall to $100. So you're given this constant impression that this thing is worth $100, so you never fear the idea of this thing falling and losing your principal. Even if strategy won't cash you out, somebody else hopefully will buy your stock at the same amount you bought it for, and you just collect the dividends, right?
Just like any other stock. Like this is some profound realization.
That's the idea behind it. The problem with it, well, currently, in order to keep it at par, Michael Saylor says they've raised the dividend rate 5 times.
So what are they going to do if it doesn't trade to $100? They're going to raise the dividend rate. Have they done that? Yeah, 5 times.
So ultimately, Stretch will only stay at $100, and you will not risk losing your principal investment as long as there's another guy willing to buy it at $100. Now,
that's correct.
Again,
and that's the thing. There has to be people willing to buy it at that price. The question is, will people wise up and realize that Michael Saylor's full of shit? And eventually nobody will want to get into STRC? Yeah. I'm not stupid enough to get into STRC. I would rather have a covered call ETF, to be honest. Like an XYLD, I'd rather have that overall. But yeah, no, the thing is, it's like This is crazy.
And they have that lever of increasing the dividend more and more and more.
Correct.
To try to keep bringing new people in. But that only lasts as long as people see Strategy as being well backed enough by Bitcoin. Which brings us back to what this all eventually is. What are your primary risks? Well, it's Bitcoin, which is
risky. It's a Ponzi scheme. So that's a problem. You know, the fact of the matter is Bitcoin being a Ponzi scheme is one of the bigger problems here. And I think that most people are aware of that. I think that people should be a little bit afraid of that.
Is volatile, and it's
That's a big
Strategy itself and
Absolutely.
their own ability to pay these dividends and not suspend them. Because even though they...
Correct. So that is exactly it. All of the risks are disclosed. People are buying it en masse. They love getting their 11.5% dividends, which, to be clear, there has not been a single missed dividend since January of 2025 when Strike was first announced.
They say they can suspend them. The second they do, you can bet that Stretch is going to fall precipitously, and a lot of people are going to be running for the door, and a lot of people are going to lose money. Now, I want to be clear that
I'm thinking of the Donald Trump quote, what if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now?
Not forecasting doom on the horizon of Stretch. I am not even calling it a Ponzi scheme, although I think there are some comparisons you could make. In fact, I think they disclose.
Are there comparisons? Really?
A lot of the risks in the fine print. My entire problem is that they're leading people like a Pied Piper with this kind of ludicrous idea. Their pitch is of a money market and a bank, when that's just not what this is.
This is like over 15 minutes and all you're going to say is that you don't like how he called it a bank? Like, is that really the extent of the critique here? And you have to read the comments in this video. Literally everybody is now concerned that like this is a scam when not a single mechanism has been named.
Everybody should be concerned that this is a scam, by the way. Everybody. Let's actually, you know what? I'm tired of listening to Adam Livingston. This guy is low IQ. Let's look up STRC Coffeezilla. Let's actually go to, I want to look at the comments because I'm so
It's
glad.
been compared to the-
I am so happy that Coffeezilla is dissing this. So let's take a look at the comment section. And we all know that Bitcoin's a Ponzi scheme. Common dad joke about what's the hardest part of building a perpetual motion machine? Where you hide the battery. Yep. The simplest instrument we've ever created draws a triangle. The fastest growing product ever. Yeah, that's a stretch. All you care about is money. The city deserves a better class of criminal. I love it. When I hear financial engineering, I translate it to fraud. Yeah. And here's the thing. STRC is a bullshit product. We all know it. Yeah. What's your company do? We're a multi-billion-dollar investment opportunity. No, like, do you offer a product or a service? Our product is a stock you can invest your money in. How do you make money? People invest money in our stock. No, straight up, honestly, STRC is probably one of the biggest Ponzi's I've ever seen in my life. And I think people with half a brain understand that Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme. And if you're going to back your entire company based on Bitcoin, that is really the problem here. That's truly the problem. My God. But I will tell you what, I'm going to catch you guys later. I want to thank you all for joining the show, for being a part of the show today. I only streamed for like 2 hours and 37 minutes, but I wanted to end the show on that reaction. But no, thank you guys for the gifts. I appreciate you, Tiny Lion Gaming, for the Sunday. Appreciate that big time, dog. But I'll catch you all later. And for now, we're going to end the stream in 5,